Real nice.
Yeah, you know me. Late night, all night, don't need no sleep. Hey, hold on.
SBK.
Whole life been right about right now. Whole lot chit chat, can't do that, sit down, pipe down. On the kitchen floor, on the church, I'm showing my whole wall. Always been a star in the sky, you can not get too loud. Yeah, I'm flashing, yeah.
Ascension Parish deputies arrested Michael Tyler, also known as Mystikal. He's facing several charges, including first-degree rape, domestic abuse, battery, and false imprisonment.
A woman claims she was raped, robbed, and held against her will by a man whose fame did not provide him any favors. Tonight, Mystikal sits in the Ascension jail accused of charges that could put him away for life if he's convicted.
To my baby and my little babies, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry that things went the way they went. I'm sorry I broke down the way I did. And I want you to know that I'm sorry. I regret that. And
First at 6 o'clock, Mystikal, a well-known rapper on the wrong side of the law tonight, his third rape arrest over the past 2 decades.
He didn't show the victim any sympathy, and he doesn't get any sympathy or special treatment.
By now, it's widely known that Mystikal is no stranger to legal trouble. With a handful of charges, he is currently held without bail at Ascension Parish Prison. In this video, we'll break down what really went down in his cases and try to clear up any confusion. Stick around as we explore his run-ins with the law. Let's jump right in.
I debut beating boy band groups. Better let me know what the hell y'all won't do. Either keep up or you can't.
On July 3rd, 2002, Mystikal placed a call to his 40-year-old hairstylist, asking her to meet up with him at his home in Baton Rouge to do his braids. This was just a cover, as Mystikal had been suspecting financial misconduct from her, that she had been embezzling money from his bank account. When she arrived, Mystikal confronted her about the gaps in his bank account that amounted to $80,000. She started making up excuses, but they didn't add up. Mystikal became really frustrated and threatened to report her to the police if she didn't speak her truth. It was then that she admitted to cashing out unauthorized checks from his bank account. She was doing this for personal gain. Reasons for Mystikal's next move remain a mystery. Maybe he wanted to get her back for what she did. Maybe he saw it as an opportunity. He boxed her to two options. Either she was to have sex with him and they call it even, or get reported for the embezzlement of his funds. The woman reported complying out of fear of legal repercussions. Mystikal then rang his two bodyguards, Leland Ellis and Carter, and told them to come over to the house. Mystikal then commanded Ellis to tape him, having sex with her, but while the camera was turned off, reports say he got aggressive with her. When the camera rolled back on, Ellis and Carter were seen getting involved, and she's seen performing oral sex. She felt violated. It was clear to the point that Mystikal, by the help of his attorney, Gary Harvey, had to get her to sign an affidavit, which is a declaration that she consented to getting involved in group sex. This was a precautionary measure that came in handy in Mystikal's court hearing. On July 4th, she reported the incident to the police, but this was met by the signed affidavit. The woman, however, denied, saying she signed when she was in a state of confusion. Following these events, the police conducted a raid on Mystikal's residence, where they discovered the tape hidden in a safe. Subsequently, Mystikal, along with his two bodyguards, Carter and Ellis, were arrested in connection to the incident. On Thursday, July 18th, Mystikal was released on $250,000 bond and was to face mandatory life sentence in jail if convicted on the charge of aggravated rape. The extortion charges, which was basically the blackmail, carry a maximum sentence of 15 years. Mystikal then got a new attorney, J. David Borland, who after numerous meetings with the state prosecutor, was able to whittle the charges down to sexual battery in exchange for a guilty plea. In early December 2003, David Borland filed a motion to retract Mystikal's previous guilty plea to charges of sexual battery and no contest to extortion. The no contest to extortion meant that Mystikal was neither admitting guilt nor contesting the charges. Essentially, it was a way for him to accept the punishment without officially admitting wrongdoing. The reason for this motion was the discovery that prosecutors had provided Judge Marabella with the videotape of the alleged sexual assault. Mystikal's lawyer felt that this new evidence could more negatively impact the case, leading him to seek the withdrawal of Mystikal's guilty plea. As part of their negotiation, the prosecutor agreed the tape would remain sealed and would not be admitted in the case as evidence. However, when the judge asked to see the videotape, the prosecution gave it to him to view. I cannot say in good faith the state deceived us, but there may have been a misunderstanding. They said they were not going to use the tape to increase the sentence, and we took that to mean the tape would be held confidential forever. The state did not bring the tape up to the judge. He asked to see the tape before sentencing, Bourdin said.
Out the bell, cause that bitch gon' need it.
January 15th, 2004. Mystical was sentenced to a 6-year prison term for sexual battery against his former hairstylist. The sentencing took into account Mystical's 2 prior arrests for drug and gun possession earlier in his career. Judge Anthony also required Mystical to register with the state as a sex offender. Under Louisiana state law, Mystical was to be eligible for parole after 2 years behind bars. The judge criticized Mystical's belief that he's above the law and that the plea deal spared him from a harsher sentence. Upon release, he was to face 5 years of probation with conditions, which, if he were to violate them, he would be going back in for up to 10 more years. Carter and Ellis also served 4 and 3 years respectively after pleading guilty. Surprisingly, Mystical's second legal trouble was concurrent with the first, as when he was in prison, he faced 2 misdemeanor counts of failing to file tax returns for 1998 and 1999. The court, however, allowed him to serve the 1-year federal sentence concurrent with his 6-year state sentence. This denied him parole rights that he had after 2006, and so he went on to be released in 2010. After this, he thought the worst was behind him, and it was time to focus on his career, but 2 years later, he would be heading back to jail. February 22, 2012, Mystical got into a heated argument with his domestic partner, leading to his arrest and a subsequent charge of domestic abuse battery, which basically means he used physical force or violence against her. The details of the argument are not provided, but this incident resulted in Mystical being detained for 9 days before being released on bail. Later, on April 16th, he faced legal repercussions for violating the terms of his probation. Mystical was sentenced to 3 months in jail, with credit given for the 9 days he had already served. This reduced his total confinement period to 81 days, and he began serving his sentence on May 14th at the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail. Around the time he left Cash Money Records, shortly after he would get arrested for another sexual assault in 2017. The story goes that on August 20th, 2017, Mystical with a bunch of other people were hanging out. It was a small party and they were having a good time. The alleged victim in the charge, let's call her Serene, kept on ditching her boyfriend because she wanted to hang out with Mystical the whole night.
We went to the show, we all had a good time. She was ditching her boyfriend, be all up in hood ass and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Some innocent people about to go to jail for something that your boyfriend done said.
This angered her boyfriend, who in response reported a case of rape and kidnapping to the police the next day. A warrant for Mystical's arrest was issued, but Mystical turned himself in as he wanted to clear his name. He was subsequently charged with rape and held at the Caddo Correctional Center on a $3 million bond until February 14, 2019, when he was able to post bond. Serene, on the other hand, had further backed her boyfriend's statement at the station. However, after investigations, on December 17, 2020, the rape charges were dismissed due to lack of evidence.
I mean, how's it feel?
It feels good. It feels good. Just grateful for this opportunity to get my life back. You know, sometimes you got to overlook the circumstances and build all this faith back. You know, this thing could be a tomb where you're sitting there deteriorating, or it could be a cocoon where you can come out of that thing. You know, it's a butterfly.
It was alleged Serene and her had ulterior motives, either attempting to exploit Mystical for financial gain, or Serene supported her boyfriend's statement to shield him from potential consequences.
Only thing I did is made a phone call to a friend. I asked her, was she okay? She said she was okay. But if you telling me that you all right and ain't nobody did nothing to you, then why send some innocent people to jail? So yeah, I'm going to say, well, you need to go up there and see what's going on and drop these charges, because some innocent people about to go to jail for something that your boyfriend done said. Because if she got raped, then everybody would have went to jail that damn day.
This last time, fam,
The chick lied to her dude, bro. Dude, they was trying to get some money. They kept pushing his court date back. Every 3 months, he come to court, they push it back 3 more months. She not showing up to court, she in jail. She got a whole bunch of charges from theft, lying, prostitution. Ain't nobody saying nothing about that, though. Like, the media just keeps saying he a rapist.
After beating this case 18 months behind bars, Mystikal's popularity soared. He got more love and trust from fans and critics alike, but all that was about to change. In July 31st, 2022, Mystikal was arrested and faced a remarkable amount of charges. The story behind the charges was by far his most controversial. Not only did it involve his baby mama, but also the acts allegedly done in the incident.
First at 6 o'clock, Mystikal, a well-known rapper on the wrong side of the law tonight, his third rape arrest over the past 2 decades.
I can't go again. I can't believe no baby mama shit. I don't know. I don't really see no serial rape going on with no baby mama.
And I'm gonna say this, that first time it came from the outside, that second time it came from the outside, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. I feel like he was getting his life right, and that could never come from the outside no more. And this third time it came from the inside. He didn't see that coming.
Mystikal has 2 kids, Million and Michelle Tyler. The baby mama to his son, Million Tyler, is not publicly known and broke up with Mystikal a couple of years ago. The two had been co-parenting for over a decade. The woman showed up to his house unannounced on Saturday to discuss past finances with him. Bear in mind, Mystikal had a restraining order against her prior to their meeting that day. In their discussions, they had an argument after she asked him to send money to their son, who is an adult about 22 years old. Mystikal then at one moment decided to walk away into the bathroom for a little bit. When he came back, he was a whole different person.
She said that he seemed fine when they were initially talking. At some point, he stepped away, maybe to the restroom. He came back a completely different person. That was when he began to come on to her.
The warrant issued for his arrest the next day details Mystikal's alleged aggravated rape. The woman had cuts, bruises on her arms, leg, face, mouth, and neck, and hair yanked from her scalp. The warrant alleges Mystikal punched her, pulled her braids from her head, took her phone and keys to prevent her from leaving, choked her to the point she could not breathe, and forcibly raped her. However, Mystikal's lawyers disagree and say she made it all up when she didn't have her way.
He had a restraining order against this woman. She shows up unannounced, demanding $1,000 from him, and when he did not give her the $1,000, she said, "I'm going to say that you raped me," and that's what happened. I mean, this case is bogus.
What is interesting is when the deputies later found some of the woman's braids in the home, as well as an earring and a broken nail. The woman suffered bruises and cuts, and some of her wounds were consistent with rape. Mystikal was arrested and charged of first-degree rape, false imprisonment, domestic abuse battery, by strangulation, simple robbery, and drug charges. Mystikal pleaded not guilty to all charges, but the judge ruled to hold him behind bars without bond because of his lengthy criminal record. And the woman reported she thinks he would do it again.
Took the judge about 30 minutes to come to that decision of not having a bond for Mystikal and keeping him in jail because of his lengthy criminal history and the fact that the victim in this case said she felt like he would do it again.
Mystikal is assured life in prison sentence if convicted of the rape charge. Currently, he is behind bars awaiting trial after a couple of delayed trials. A detail most people don't know is 3 weeks prior to the incident, another woman had told a man who lives along Mystikal Street that Mystikal had beaten her up. It was said the deputies were even called to the place, but it's unclear why they didn't even speak to Mystikal at the time. Shocking, right?
3 weeks ago, deputies were also called to Mystikal Street after a man says a woman came to his door alleging she was beaten by the rapper.
He's the victim in this circumstance?
He is the victim.
Just like he was last time.
Well, that's it for Mystikal's criminal record. What do you guys think? Is he guilty or is it just a skim? Do comment down below and hit that subscribe button to never miss whenever we upload.
You're now tuned in to the realest YouTube channel in the world.
From a long way away, I take risks. Swing around that corner, I can't miss. I can't go back, I can't switch. I can't go back,